What's up, what's up? It's Joey Blush Response, and welcome to the latest episode of Sound and Structure. Today I'm talking to Ansome, one of my favorite techno producers, and he also makes really dope modules. Let's get right into it.
Hi, Kieran. How you doing?
Hey, all good, man. What's going on?
Hanging in Berlin. I was just playing Resident Evil Village. That shit is terrifying.
Yeah, fuck that. Oh, man. 1 second. I've got all sorts popping up. Right. There you go. Sweet. Yeah. I didn't get completely forgot you guys were an hour ahead.
Yeah. No worries. I'm going to ask you questions about your approach and all that, and go as deep as you want. It's for the nerds.
Yeah. Sweet.
The first thing is, let's talk about your system. It's bigger than mine.
I don't know. They're definitely close, though.
Yeah. What do you got going on in there?
All sorts, really. I mean, I've recently, I've completely changed the way I use that thing, which, because I only used it for live for years. It was just, my approach was, if a module was good for live, it'd be good for me. So, and I didn't use it as much for production as I would have liked, because every bit of gear that I was using, I'd be using live, and I didn't want to mess up my patch or whatever when I was home. So now I've just had a year off. It's completely different. I've just put everything in the big case, and the approach has completely changed. I'm using modules that I didn't really like at first because they weren't great for live, but now I've got the time to get into them. Everything's changed.
Which modules are those?
It's hard to say, really, because it's pretty much like almost all of them. I'm using almost every module in a different way. I'm doing stuff a lot more musical as well, so I'm actually tuning the oscillators, and it's a lot different for sure. I'm just trying to think what I recently got, the marbles and some more quantizers and stuff as well.
Nice.
The U scale, I think, which everything's changed, made a bit more musical. And I don't know, with live, I didn't even, because the dissonance and everything out of pitch was what I liked about it. You know, you can just fucking whack it in, and if it sounded good there and then, that was it. But now I'm aligning more oscillators together and trying to create something more musical, I think.
You working on a new album? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of took the whole year off musically. I mean, I needed it really badly. And then when everything happened, I was kind of just I would have never have taken this time off myself. You know, you never turn down gigs or anything like that. So then when it was kind of thrust upon me, it was good. I took full advantage of it and just didn't touch anything for almost a year. So now I'm getting the itching feeling, I've got to make something again, which is nice.
Yeah, I saw you had a couple kind of generative noise patches up.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of experimenting with something that, I don't know, just a completely different approach. But a lot of it I've just thrown away because it's quite disheartening at first when you're trying to change your sound and find something new, because you have to go through a lot of crap. Yeah. A lot of crap. Yeah. And it's really because I was so used to getting instant sounds of how I wanted and it working and being good, that when I'd spend 2 weeks making shit, I'd just be like, oh, what the fuck am I doing? But yeah, it's slowly forming into something I would like to use, I think.
What kind of techniques have you been exploring?
It's more just sample and hold or noise into a quantizer, and just trying to get something out of nothing, really. I've been looking at sequences for fucking 8 years now, step sequences, and it's kind of a bit no matter what, I'll always make the same kind of thing. It's just automatic, especially from playing live. You have go-to patterns and pitches that work. So it's nice to step away and let that make itself, and you just choose when it's nice and pull it out. Yeah.
That's cool. Are you familiar with Keith Fullerton Whitman?
No.
Check him out. He's a really cool modular guy. and he does a series of releases, performances called generators, where he's using quantizers with modulation sources and LFOs to make really interesting sequences. Might be good brain
sounds
food.
interesting. Yeah, that's another thing I've been doing is I'll set a loop of quantized something in the marbles, which is nice and repetitive, and then I'll add some more random in that. So it'll be solid, but then it'll go weird, solid, and then keep changing. But also you have that techno element, or where something is kind of looping. Yeah, it's nice to have the time to fuck around on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice system. What oscillators are you using mostly these days?
I go for mostly digital ones because of getting everything in tune. The DPO and the complex oscillator from Verbos, I do love using them, but they're so off at the moment. I need to completely recalibrate them. I didn't even realize how bad they were until I started trying to get everything in tune.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I know the noise engineering stuff as well. It always sounds sick. Like it's hard to fuck up with those. So yeah, I always go for them. But yeah, it's strange. It's mostly digital oscillators, which I don't think people would usually think when you've got a big system like that. They always think analog, but yeah, there's a lot of fucked up sounds that come from the digital realm.
Yeah, I feel that's what I always hear too. They're like, "Oh yeah, but you're really analog," and I'm like, "No, it's like half digital."
yeah, like most of it's digital. Actually, I just love having something physical to touch.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else I've been fucking up to on that. I've been making a lot of modules as well, so I've just been using like prototypes and stuff that don't fully work until they do work. So there's a lot of that going on. Yeah.
What made you decide to make modules?
I've wanted to for years. Almost since I started making music, I've been into making gear. I was like circuit bending stuff, but it's such a steep learning curve where you know nothing, and then it's just a brick wall. And it took me like 3 or 4 like solid attempts where I buy loads of equipment, I'd get loads of books, and I'm like, right, I'm going to make a distortion or something. And I could never get past this like first hurdle. And then I tried again when I was in Berlin, and it just clicked in my head, and I started to understand to the point where I could start learning. And yeah, it just took off from there really. And the lockdown helped a lot because I had a year of free time just to completely immerse myself into electronics. So yeah, I've always wanted to do it, and I'm happy now that I'm able to.
I think they're really cool. Like the filter, I'm in love with that. I'm going to use that a lot.
Wicked. Yeah, no, it is. It's nice, but it's just the beginning as well. I mean, hopefully I can do this for a while. I think a few people message me and were like, "Oh, when you start gigging again, will you still be making modules?" And for me, I completely forgot about gigging. I was like, that's all I'm doing now is making modules. Seems like a lifetime away, the music.
It is kind of weird, that feeling. Like, I don't even remember this. It's like another era.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I did a live stream thing for Akai a couple of months ago. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I didn't even remember what to do. And I mean, it came back instantly and it was pretty good fun. But for a minute, I was just like staring at the box, just like, fuck, what do I do? Yeah.
It's funny. Like beginning of 2019, I had all these dates booked and I did a gig for Electron using their model cycles. And then I was like, okay, I have all these dates. I'm going to completely rework my live set and make something new, change every module. And then no live sets. So I don't have anything. So when I get asked to do live stream, it's like, oh, I don't know. It's too much work. Sorry. No.
Yeah, it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to, when you start gigging again, do you think you'll change your setup?
Probably just to keep it fresh.
Yeah, I've had this idea in my, because I think it's going to slowly start coming back. So I've had this idea of just completely fucking switching everything up while I've got the time do it completely differently.
Yeah, I really want to kind of kick it up a notch, like in capability and what I was doing before. So we'll see what happens. And you got the Force for your setup. How's that?
Before everything cut off, I'd stopped using the Force. I was just using 2 modulars. Mm-hmm. I think I did a live stream in London where I just had that set up, which was just the 2 modulars. And I think for me, I love using the Force because it basically lets you have everything structured out, but that gets boring within a couple of gigs for me. And I don't know, when you're gigging quite a lot as well, I love it to change constantly, keeps everything exciting. And when you've just got a modular, there's no way that's going to be the same every time. So I think for me, that's probably the way going forwards is, just 2 modulars, one for drums, one for synth kind of sounds, and just fucking let rip.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that too, because I got the Erica drum sequencer. So that with the Assimilator is like perfect.
That's literally the exact combo I've got, just those 2 together. And the CV control as well is just, you can map like every single, there's so much CV in on the Assimilator. Just little things I didn't know I'd want to modulate.
Yeah, it's the best part of it. It's so, and then when you pitch something down 96 semitones and it sounds crazy.
Yeah, there's something, the sample, I don't know what it is. It's like the anti-aliasing or something you can pitch stuff down so low and it still sounds fucking less, like not distorted or, I don't know how to explain it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean,
smooth as fuck.
That's 40 years of making samplers from Dave Rossum, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a beast. I use the Bitbox with that as well. So I'll get like really short loops of just, even if it's just like a vocal like loop shortly or whatever, and I'll have like the loops triggered on that and then all my single hits on the simulator. So it's kind of, that's all you need for drums really, is those two solid things. I like the loops as well because you can get like these textures that you can't, it's really hard to get in the modular sometimes, you know, when you've got like 30 effects on Ableton making these modulated textures in stereo. So I'll do something like that on the Bitbox, which I can launch, and then as soon as you put a kick drum under that, it almost sounds like a full track. And then you can add like the snare, the hats and everything from just programming them in, and you have this full song in no time.
Awesome. I never got to use the Bitbox, but the tempo sync looks nice.
Yeah, it's the second one. I bought the first one and I took it straight back. I was like, this is fucking shit.
Oh, man.
And then I saw they did this big update, like to 2.0, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to go and buy another one. And I'd already taken it back to Schneider's and said, like, I don't like it.
Oh, no.
And, yeah, I had to turn up and ask for another one. But yeah, it's wicked. And nothing else really offers that. It's just a little bit of a safety net, you know, just a loop that's in time.
Totally.
It's hard. It sounds easy, but it's not in hardware. That's a pretty tricky thing to get, especially when you're shifting tempos and stuff.
Does it stay like it syncs to CV clock or MIDI clock?
Both.
Okay.
But I always just have the CV clock. But you can't like change tempo while a sample's playing. It'll get a bit weird, but you can stop it and relaunch it, and it'll be pretty perfect.
Okay.
I've seen some people DJing on them as well. It's fucking crazy, using like the pitch up and down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Does it have different warp modes, or is it just all one?
I think it's just it has like a slicer, then just one warp mode for like clip sync. But yeah, I think those two's beast. That's what I'd have. Then I'd use everything in the mix everything in the. Actually, no, I changed it. So I'd use like the stereo output of the Rossum, and then I'd have 2 stereo outputs from the Bitbox, and they're both going into the Allen and Heath. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'd do. I'd mix everything at home inside the samplers. So really, you just need to put a stereo connection, and everything's mixed. There's no fucking messing around then. I used to waste a lot of time mixing in soundcheck, and every room sounds different. Every club has, you know, you'd get some of the shittest mixes sometimes just because there's no one in the fucking room and all you can hear is an empty club vibrating. So that saved a lot of hassle. It's just mixing everything at home in the box, making it fucking foolproof. Then you just turn up and it sounds solid.
Yeah, I can't tell you the amount of gigs where it's like, it's on my rider, it says Allen and Heath or Soundcraft Mixer. And then I get there and like, oh, we had this Behringer. Yeah. This is what we have. Like, oh, great.
Yeah. I used to have a 32 channel Midas and I'd mix everything single channel.
I remember that.
And it was fucking awesome. But like just some clubs couldn't get it. And then just trying to get a mix when obviously your surroundings are changing constantly. It wasn't ideal. So I think the way I do it now is probably the way it'll stay for a long time. Just get most of the hard work done at home. And because my kicks are always fucking slammed to the same level. Mm-hmm. As long as the kicks are always the same and you mix all the other elements to it, no matter when you change through the samples, it's always, or should always sound pretty tight. Pretty
Definitely.
even.
Yeah, it's funny. When I first started playing live out here, I was like, yeah, I want control of everything. And now I'm like, fuck it, stereo mix. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, when you're doing your tracks, how has your approach changed? Because I think the last time I visited your studio, I saw you were doing a lot of cutting up on the Ableton grid. Are you still doing it that way? Or? Yeah,
massively. I'm like 100% in Ableton making tracks. And I use analog gear more as a sound source. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, I'll fuck around on the modular until I get a nice sound. I'm like, record it. And then I'll slice it up straight away. And it won't even be the same melody, you know, everything will move areas. I might even pitch it down. It's completely, for me, it gives me like inspiration and sounds to work with. But for workflow, I'm full nerd in Ableton these days. You just can't get complicated. Like the stuff I need to do, you know, the EQing and shit, it has to be precise. And there's just software is the way to go for that.
What are your favorite software mixing tools?
Fab Filter, the EQ. I'll choose that over pretty much anything else. I love the Ableton amp. That thing's fucking awesome. I don't know. Maybe just as well. You do a lot of like chaining and, you know, with like almost like a modular in Ableton. So I'll control a lot of parameters on, say, like 3 different distortions in a row. But I'll change like the mixes with LFOs and the stereo spread will go up and down and just creating these massive soundscapes. And it's kind of not really the plugins themselves, but the modulation. I mean, you can just use the Ableton stock.
Yeah.
Some pretty good stuff. I use a lot of sound toys.
Sound toys. Nice. I had a question from my patron that I thankfully remembered to ask. He wanted to know, would you design a full synth in the future, like a DFAM or the Erica bassline or something? Yeah,
I really want to. I've been thinking about it quite a bit as well, just like a little a box with kind of the best things that I do in them. But the only thing I'm thinking about is like an oscillator, which is like, it would have to be digital for like the sound that I want. And that's a whole different area of something I need to learn. And that's kind of what stopping me doing that is, like I need to find someone who's fucking legit programmer and can, you know, do embedded systems and stuff. You know, in the future maybe, but it's a lot to learn.
What criteria are important for you in the oscillator design?
Well, that's the thing. Like there's only so much you can do with an analog oscillator, right? You have like your fixed waves. You can fold it, you know, distort it, but it's pretty limited. Whereas if you have a digital oscillator, you can pretty much just scan through any wave shape possible and more. You could put a sound in that can be controlled by that wave shape, or I think there's so many more possibilities with digital for the sounds that I like as well. And it would keep it small. Like Noise Engineering, for example, they kind of nailed it with a lot of their stuff.
They really did. to the point that I have to like consciously not use them because I use them on everything.
Man, you can. What's the black one? The Manus.
Manus Eternitas.
I can hear that from like so far away, man. The second that plays, I'm just like, yep.
Yeah.
Which was it was all right at first because not many people had it, and now it's like everywhere.
Yeah, it was funny because when I went to their place in LA, I didn't have the Manus yet, and I was telling them like, yeah, every single person I know got it, so I didn't buy it. And they were like, "Don't be a hipster." I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll get it."
Yeah. What's the other one? The Hertz Donut as well.
Oh yeah, Harvest Man.
Yeah, I was meant to buy the other one, which is I forgot what it's called.
Piston Honda.
Yeah, so I went in to buy the Piston Honda, and I didn't realize they had two that looked similar. So I just went to the guy like, yeah, I'll have that. And then I got home and I was like, oh, fuck, that's not the one I went in to buy. But I started fucking around in it. I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. I'll keep it.
I love both of those. I couldn't be without them.
Yeah, I think, I'm trying to get hold of one of the mannequins.
Yeah.
I think all these generative patch videos, they're always rocking. I think it's like Just Friends module and the mannequins, and they're just, it's a Mangrove. That's it. And it's just like, makes me want to get one so bad. And I know like, I've learned the module's not going to make a difference, you know, you've actually got to be able to use the modular, but it still makes me want to buy one just to get that sound.
Yeah, totally. You know what? I read a thread on Muff Wiggler that someone figured out how to patch up a Mangrove using a maths in any oscillator, that there's some way to get the same kind of formant shifting.
Really?
I gotta find that. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, if you could, because that would save me a couple £100 and probably about 6 months waiting list.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
It's kind of funny how certain modules just like appear in everyone's system at once, and then you'll never find it.
It's hard to deny though, you know, when everyone's making this kind of sound that you want, and then they've all got this module and you're looking at it and you're like, is that what I'm missing?
Yeah.
And even it's not, but it just tricks you.
Yeah. It's kind of funny too though, because then you do get the thing and it's like really cool, but then you're like, oh, I could have just done this way, and then you learn.
Yeah. I think that whole attitude comes from like when I first started buying gear, and I was just like, I need gear to do this. I need that to do that. And then you get it and you're like, nah, I need this. And they're never ending. And it took a long time to realize that you don't need anything, really. You could do it all on just a computer or a single drum machine or whatever. It's just in our nature to buy.
I mean, I'm with you on that. I also think there's a kind of it's like a research aspect, I find, because you've never used an old sampler, you've never used an FM synth, you've never used an additive oscillator, etc. It's like you don't know what the experience will be like, and sure, you could use the plugin, but here's the real fucking thing, Yeah,
I think there's an argument as well for if you just download a plugin for free or whatever, you forget about it. But if you actually go and buy a bit of gear, you've dedicated a bit of yourself to it, and then you've got it physically, so you're always going to go to it and use it and learn on it. There is something about, physically having something, and also the price you're willing to pay for it, that'll make you, I don't know, appreciate it more maybe.
Yeah. I mean, also just look at it like, I like playing, guitar and an instrument, drums. It's like, I want to touch something.
Yeah, exactly. I think for a lot of producers that start in the box, to feel like a musician, it's kind of, at least for me, I needed something to kind of take me out of what I was just doing in the computer.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit more real, I think.
What other hardware synths do you have besides the modular?
I've got quite a few. To remember them is a different thing. Ones that I really like, I like the Virus. I think I got the Virus B or the C, I'm not sure. That I think the guy I bought it off as well, he loaded in loads of like gnarly presets. I think that he made himself as like a drum and bass dude.
Oh, dope.
So yeah, there's loads of hidden gems in there, which is I think that's quite cool as well. That he's named them all like $something. Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. What else? I built the synth cushion a while ago. I was obsessed with that for a little bit, but again, I kind of got bored of it. But yeah, no, I think mostly for the hardware synths, usually I'll just go for the modular because that's really what I would use it for mostly. A lot of my drums would come from processing on a computer, so the modular had its job of making the leads, the atmospheres, and everything in between. So yeah, I'm trying to think. It's hard when when I haven't looked at half this stuff for a year or so. Actually, I bought the Korg, the new one, the little. It had like keys, but I got the keys chopped off.
The Minilog.
Yeah, the Minilog. But I didn't really like that thing at all. I never got on with it. I don't know. Yeah, I saw a lot of videos and it looked right, but it's a bit menu divey for me, I think.
I never really used that one. I think I've seen pictures of it because you like really modified it.
Yeah, I got it down here.
Oh, it's clever. And now they sell it like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, mine's probably worth fuck all now because it's chopped in half and they sell a legit one like that. But
just sign it, it'll be worth more.
Probably not. But maybe, you never know, maybe I'll break it out one day and actually use it some more. I think now that my sound's changing a little bit, a lot of gears finding a new life.
So you're in a more melodic space now, you'd say?
I think I just want to make something more musical in terms of like, I've done the just raw fucking noise and shit like that. And it's cool and it has itself such an emotion, you know, but I never put really much time into the musical side of things. So yeah, for me anyway, it's just something I would like to do. It might sound fucking terrible, you know?
I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
You had one track that was kind of like a ballad on your last album. I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, I think that was the signs of me slowly losing it. I was like, I want to make something a little bit more musical, but I don't know if it's, you know, if I can sell the stuff on the same album. You know, I might have to do a whole different project or something.
I mean, I think you could do it, you know, like Ansome is you. You are not the same person your whole life, you know? Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. But, you know, I also wouldn't want to put out a record and someone buys it and they're like, oh, what the fuck's this shit?
I mean, just do like a free jazz project next.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing though, is like even making different music, it still sounds like me. You know, I think it's pretty hard like to not sound like yourself, especially if you're making music a certain way. Even if I wanted to make like trap music or something, it would still end up being like distorted kicks, and I think the snares would still be a bit like clangy and shit. So I think you can still like bring into whatever genre you choose, it'll always have your identity onto it.
For sure. I mean, you are you at the end of the day. So,
or am I?
That remains to be seen. How do you generate a lot of your drums?
I use a lot of found sounds. Like that's the tricky thing with a lot of the drums I use. It's hard to make them sound good because the original sample's like knocking on a door or something. So it's a bit of a struggle to get that to sound like a heavy kick or whatever. So a lot of processing, a lot of work, and then for it just to sound like a normal kick with a bit more character, I guess. So yeah, it's a lot of sample manipulation, not much, nothing really analog for kick drums or any of the drums really. You'd get further with a Zoom recorder, I think.
Yeah, I think I remember you sampling quite a lot with the Zoom.
Yeah, like on the last album I made, I was watching the Hunger Games on Netflix, and there's a point where the woman like knocks the microphone and it goes doom doom like that, and I was like, oh fuck! So I quickly like sampled it, and the track Hunger on my album was made like just around that tapping on the microphone.
Nice.
Yeah, so and that's why it's called Hunger as well, because I got the thingy from Hunger Games. You know, I wasn't even looking for it. I was just trying to fucking go to sleep after a gig or something and put some shit film on. And then, yeah. So it kind of happens like that. You find this one little sound and I could build a fucking song around that. I did it a lot with, have you heard like Luke Ferrari, or I think that's how you say it. I don't want to butcher the name.
Well, like I remember
Italian.
you recommending him to me at a party once, but I never did dig in.
It's just like this, like, we did it in university, like we're doing futurism and just going through like these old boys that were just like pioneering the futurism movement, and they were playing like this, like one of these tracks that he's done, and these are like fucking old. And there's just one point where there's like these people like marching, and you hear like the feet like doom, 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 and that's straight there and then. I was like, fuck, like, take those footsteps, make like a track just from the stomping. And yeah, it's basically using like any sound that just grabs you. And I quite like that idea.
I think that's a great approach. I'm with you on that. I was doing a remix about a week ago, and I was just like, man, this is a bit too synthetic. I need some kind of atmosphere. And I just kind of stepped away for a second, and I opened the window, and there was some construction happening outside. And I was like, all right, bust out the Zoom. Here we go.
Yeah.
And it
would change an entire song as well. Just this one element of realness.
Yeah.
It is hard when you work so much in a computer with synthetic sounds. It's kind of to get that feeling. I mean, if you listen to like country music or something where it's a really shit recording of a dude with a guitar and his mic, and they're probably just one mic for both, you can hear and it's so fucking raw. It has so much character to it. And, I think a lot of this electronic music misses that, because it's just all made inside the box, and it's really hard to like bring that character in. So yeah, I'd like to do a lot of that in the newer stuff. Not country, just
maybe you should do country.
Yeah, I've got my guitar somewhere. Whip it out.
I've been into guitar lately. I got 2 guitars, a 6 and an 8 string. So I've been doing the like really heavy shit. But then I got a pod, and I've been making like crazy, like weird phased out sounds. It's great for sampling.
Using it in your music a bit more.
I will be soon. I'm finishing a new album that I did before I got all that, so I have to finish that, then I can move on.
Sweet.
But I did it on one remix.
Yeah, I love it when people bring guitar into electronic music. I think it's demands so much fucking like power as well.
Yeah.
Just a single fucking chord or something.
Yeah, power chord all day.
Yeah.
The 8 string is crazy because I realized that it would be thicker strings, but I didn't realize that it literally sounds like a bass on the top 2 strings. But it's nice.
I think UVB does that a lot with his bass lines in his music. You can hear like a real guitar.
That's cool.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
So, let's see what's on my questions list here. What's your favorite sequencer?
It changes all the time, man. But for different reasons, I'd say like the Doper sequencer. I just love the idea that it doesn't have fixed notes, and it can just be any pitch, and you can get weird shit from it. The Nerd sequencer, it's a beast, and it's a whole different way of sequencing, which is, if it takes you out of that 16-step mode, I'll tend to make something more interesting if it's a different way of sequencing, and the tracker just kind of makes you like feel like you're in a different space. I'll probably say those 2. Although I'm really getting into the marbles at the moment, like generative stuff. Just let it do its own thing.
I got to dig more into mine. I did a couple tracks with on a new album I have coming out. I got 2. With Marbles doing kind of generative drum stuff, and that was really cool. But I haven't done the pitch side at all.
With the triggers, I'm the other way. I've done just the pitch, not the triggers. I'll use the triggers to trigger maybe like an envelope or something that will then control the pitch. So you get like this little thing going on.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah, let it control itself.
Yeah, I was doing kind of like the drum triggers combined with burst generators and gate skippers together. which is
What
something
burst generators have you been using?
the
something
2
I've been
HP.
using. Yeah, are they good?
They do the job. I like that you can just kind of like turn the knob and it's bursting. You don't have to hit it or anything.
Is that CV?
It can be CV'd. Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to get one. I've been looking for something like that just to get all fucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. You could also use the Temps Util. You know the Ornament and Crime?
Yeah, I've got the Ornaments and Crime up there.
There's a sister module which is all about clocks, the Temps Util, and it has like burst generation, gate sequencing. Check that out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I need something like that because again, it's when you're sequencing on these sequencers, it can get a bit boring. You know, you want something just to come out of nowhere.
Totally. Sequence the sequencer.
Actually, that's what I've been doing. The Winter Modular. Is it the eloquent? How do you pronounce it?
Eloquencer. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I butchered that, but I've been using the CV ins to like add like higher probability of the gates triggering or whatever, and that's been quite nice. So just put it completely like on random mode. So you randomize what the notes are, then you randomize how it's playing, and then you add in CV just to fucking like almost like a burst generator, I guess. That's been doing some nice stuff. But again, I've just been throwing half of it away because it's just figuring out some new techniques.
I wouldn't throw it away, you know, put it in a folder and cut it up into samples later.
Yeah. Wow. Too late now.
Next time.
Yeah.
Oh man. What's your favorite distortion?
It's the more I've worked on distortion now solidly for like a year, like non-stop, just I've tried every different circuit that exists, every different distortion I've tried, and there's no right answer is the question. Like everything has its place completely. You know, drums, you just want straight clipping, I found, you know, otherwise you lose a lot of the fullness. Whereas like a synth line or something, you could get away with the fuzz, or I don't know. For me, it changes a lot. I'm working on this new one, which is like well, I don't know if I sent you the pictures before. It's like 4 distortions in a row.
Okay.
Because I really like the way that like FETs distort. So this is just like 4 FETs in a row. So you can have the first one, which will be mildly distorted, and then it goes in series. So the last one will be all 4 distortions, and you can choose how much each one distorts. So it can be really smooth or really fucking crazy. But yeah, I think that's probably like my favorite style was just straight FET clipping. I think another one that uses FETs is the TG5, the Gristallizer kind of module from, I don't even know who makes it.
Future Sound Systems.
Yeah, see, you know way more than me, but that's a fucking absolute beast, I'd say, as well.
I want to get that. I've been meaning to take a look at it.
It's so good for, compared to like, when I was making the gain stage, it's the only other distortion I would compare them to in terms of like, you know, what I was like, right, I want to achieve something at this kind of level. With all of the others, kind of like, yeah, the more you dive into it, I didn't like them as much. But that's the only one that still, you know, after making what I consider would be my favorite distortion, which was my one, that's the only one that still like I couldn't achieve. So yeah, I think that's a fucking beast.
I'm gonna have to look into that. I mean, it's throbbing gristle approved, and that's enough for me. Yeah,
it's just it's fucking sweet. And the way you can use it is like almost a compressor or an expander as well with the envelope follower. Yeah, it's a hammer. I mean, yeah, distortion's distortion. That you can only distort so much until it turns into a square wave. You know, and then it just sounds actually like shit. So that's what I learned a lot, you know. Digital distortion might be the next thing to work on. I think that will give you a lot more interesting textures and possibilities.
I'm very curious to hear that. Let me ask you, do you still have the Culture Vulture?
Yeah, just right there in the rack. I use that differently though. That's like I've got the Fat Bastard and the Culture Vulture, and I'll like break my mix into 8 channels on Ableton, which will all get summed into the Fat Bastard, and then I'll have a parallel send, which will go through the Culture Vulture, then back into there. So I'll always just add this level of crisp onto every track. And yeah, it's fucking wicked, that thing. Really nice. But again, like, for the price, you know, it hurts to think about, but it's, I'd still say it's worth it.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, I think so. But again, it's, if you're expecting miracles, you know, it's not going to make your track sound fucking sick. It's just a really nice, crisp layer of distortion. It's not going to do miracles. Whereas my modules, I'm joking.
Oh man, I got a bit of flack with your module video because it's sold out, I guess.
Did it? Sick.
Yeah. Some guy commented like, watched the video, it was cool, found other videos, they were cooler, went to buy the module, it's sold out, thanks bro. I was like, okay.
Shit, I've been in Cornwall for 2 weeks. I haven't even checked my phone. So
did you find Aphex Twin?
Nah, he's a myth, mate. Actually, it's all people talk about it, because I went to college in Cornwall. Just all they would talk about. So I used to, when I grew up getting into music, I'd never used to like him, just without listening, just out of automatic, because it's just like everyone was like, man, like Aphex Twin this, Aphex Twin that. And now I've like got over that, and you actually start listening to a lot more of it. You're like, oh fuck, they were right. Like, this guy's insane.
Fuck yeah, man. But, I think you dig the caustic window stuff.
Yeah, man. I was watching the videos as well. Is it the Chris Cunningham or something?
Oh yeah.
Fucking really good, man. The whole thing. The guy's a full Cornish weirdo as well. I love it.
Yeah, he's really he's got a strange presence online, which I find very entertaining. Need that kind of eccentricity in art today. Everyone's so nice. Less
trance, more.
Too true. I want to know about your filter, because someone asked me about the filter topology and I have no idea. What's it based on? Is it based on anything?
It's not based on like a single filter, but like if you look at like data sheets for certain IC chips, they have like an example of a filter. So I guess the say like something that would be similar to, but you could say like the MS-20, but the MS-20 doesn't use the LM13700. I don't even know if it, because they have 2 versions of the MS-20 as well. So it's hard to say, but it's like it's not a ladder filter. It's a filter using an OTA. If that makes sense to anyone. So I'd say maybe like the newer MS-20 filter. I think that uses the same style of filtering, but again, it's not really comparable. It's just it's
it's your own thing.
Yeah, as much as it could be, you know. I've got like a bunch of books from this guy called Thomas Henry. Here they are. Yeah, like these hammers, and he's got like if you're getting into electronics, these are probably the best things you can get. There's one like analog synthesizers for the 21st century. So like in here, it's got a very similar filter design. But instead of using the VCA IC, I'm using an LM13700. It's a bit more noisy.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, it's most people say it's bad noise, but I like a bit of character.
Yeah, I do too. That's the thing I had to realize when people were talking about character and studio gear, because a preamp is supposed to get clean audio, so any of the character is actually a mistake. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, if you get like a Behringer pedal or something, there's no way that can't be as good as the £200 pedal.
it's what you're looking for, right? Like, what if it's worse? In a way, isn't that better? It depends what you're looking for, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Such a weird thing. It's like the cheapest device can outdo the most expensive device just because, and it's nice.
Yeah, I found that with a lot of electronics. Sometimes the quirks are what you're looking for. Yeah.
I had a discussion with this, Pansonic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking with Ilpo, just because they have amazing noise and distortion. And he brought up that they did all of their tracks pretty much in the 90s through this Boss mixer, the BX series. Super cheap mixer.
Man, I've got one of those modules that it's just a channel strip from that.
Okay.
And you just use the overdrive for distortion. It's fucking amazing.
Well,
amazing.
That's the Pansonic sound. And it's funny because their distortion is so pure and high-end sounding. The records sound amazing.
Yeah, shit. I forgot. Yeah, when you asked about the distortions, I forgot to say two of the best ones I have. They're just the BX and the CR. So it's the Mackie CR, the old, the one that everyone uses for techno. So it's just a channel strip from that, and then the channel strip from the Boss. And they're just overdrive the input, and it's fucking for drums and shit like that. Just straight. There's nothing that can beat straight overdrive on a preamp channel or something. Yeah, hidden gems those are. Actually, is it Crystal Geometry told me about those ones?
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I might have to invest in those, even though I have the Boss mixer. It's nice to have it in the Eurorack.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I mean, I think the guy makes them for pretty cheap as well.
I see you got the Lyra 8 effects. How do you like that thing?
Yeah, it's fucking... Well, I don't like the distortion on it. I never use the distortion. It's pretty whack. But the delay I love. It's just like the PT chip. It's a little delay chip inside. And it's really lo-fi. Like, especially like when you take it in longer times, the quality goes down and down each time it gets longer. So it just adds character, so much character. I think that's one of my favorite modules as well, because the delays I use it one super tight. It's got like two in parallel. So it'll have like the original signal, then two delays. So I just love getting one super tight and then one with an actual delay to get like a metallic feeling, an actual delay to add rhythm. And then if you just boost the feedback, it just starts screaming. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's really lovely, that one.
Yeah. Have you got one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking cool, isn't it? I've never got on with the distortion though. I don't know why. It just seems like it's almost clipping way too low.
It is a bit weird level-wise. But there's a jumper on the back you can adjust to change the level of it, I read.
Yeah, I've tried that a few times, but I don't know if it's making much of a difference to me in terms of, what I'm looking for.
I never adjusted it, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. It's a good module there.
Yeah. Fucking rules.
Yeah, I've been working on a delay for like quite a while now, which just kind of ready for testing, which is like, imagine like two of those on steroids with loads of panning options as well. So you can go like in series, or you can have like two, and then you can pan the originals and the delays separately. So you'll have
also a PT chip?
Yeah, 4 of them.
Cool.
Like, be pretty. I mean, it's quite a basic circuit delay with that chip. It's quite like a common thing. So like the delay itself is nothing special apart from it's got like a tape saturator emulator before and in the feedback loop. So instead of it getting super gnarly, it's actually meant to be kind of a bit tamer and a bit smoother. And then it's got just the panning of each delay and each original signal. So stereo field wise, it'd just be fucking crazy. So yeah, hopefully it's got over 500-600 components there. So it might take a while to actually get a working prototype.
I like the ambition though.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. I'm making a mixer as well, like a really big modular mixer. and the project's so fucking big. So I'd like start it and then I'd go work on other modules and I'd get a little bit better and then I'd come back and I'd attack it some more. And it slowly seems less daunting, like a big project like that. So yeah, hopefully by the end of the year, I could have both of those finished.
Awesome. And the mixer is something for live or something you'd use in the studio? Or?
It's something for live. So it would just be like it's an 8-channel mixer. But it's got voltage controlled auxiliaries. So you can, the VCAs on the auxiliaries, so you can, say if you're sending to a delay or distortion or whatever, you can do it. I don't know, I've not really seen many mixers with that, and I think it'd be quite a cool thing. Then it's just going through like a compressor limiter, and then you get a parallel saturation option, and then stereo auxes as well. So like you can bring in sub-mixes from other, or another version of that mixer, and just mix everything together. But yeah, I mean, in theory, everything's worked out. I've tested a lot of elements on it as well, but you might build it and it might sound shit. So you got to go back to the beginning. This happens a lot in electronics. An idea is never, it's not always exactly what you think.
Yeah, this is what's kept me away. It's like I'm 3 years out from doing anything, so I'll just do YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd dig it, man. You should get into making gear. I think you'd love it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
you probably know enough people as well that it'd be quite an easy transition. Learning all of that stuff. There's always people to ask.
Maybe I will, but then it's also like, do I do DSP or do I do electrical engineering?
Yeah, both.
yeah. So stop making music.
Yeah, it is like that though. It's like I completely stopped music for a year just to like let it happen. I think if I was making music as well, it wouldn't have went the way it went.
I mean, you did do a really good job though, so I'd say it was worth it.
Yeah, obsessing for that's as well. I had loads of. I think it's quite expensive to like develop stuff. But I'd save loads of money from the gigging, so I just fucking burn it all up on. I think not many people have the opportunity to, like order a prototype every week and learn so rapidly. Mm-hmm. I could afford to make a lot of mistakes, and now I can't obviously because I haven't worked for a year. But at the beginning, yeah, I was there to support myself.
Oh man, now you can make an OnlyFans.
Yeah, I might have to, man. It's, probably not the first. There's got to be someone out there doing it. Some techno.
I thought about doing one, but only with pictures of my cat.
What, do they know that though? Or is it just until they buy it? I don't know how it works.
No, I mean, I would do it publicly. Like, this is my cat's OnlyFans.
Oh, right. I thought you meant like, this is me. And then it would just be like you naked, but with a cat. Like,
I mean, maybe I'd do that too. Why not?
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah. God. I'm too shy for that.
Gotta make that money.
Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky I literally did 10 remixes last month because they all just hit at once. And I was like, okay, let's do them all. But I never want to do one again.
Yeah, I don't think I've never charged for a remix, I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
I can't live with like that. I'll only do it if it's someone I know, like, someone who's asking me for, like, as a favor. Like, I don't think I could live with the responsibility of like someone paying me to do it. I'd be like, oh, it's too much,
Oh, I'm the opposite way. I'm like, I don't really want to do this, but I really like paying my rent. So here we go.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I might have to start charging, man. I mean, I don't do many remixes, so yeah.
It's cool in a way because like what I like to do is I resample all the sounds into my samplers and then make a new track from that. So it's fun to make something I wouldn't normally make,
Yeah. Yeah, no, there is something about remixes which is I find it easier because everything's done for you. You just get given these ideas and it's more like, what can I make from this? And there's no responsibility of being like something because it's already that. You just have to, like, whereas if you make your own song, it's just fucking blank slate. You're just like, right, What's going on today?
Oh yeah, and then it goes on, and you're like, "What the fuck was this today?"
Nothing. Did you do a remix for Soft Moon before?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest ones I got to do. I think that every sample was just sick that was in the pack. I think I kept almost every element.
I remember coming by your studio when you were working on it, and you were like, "Oh yeah, that's the scream, that's this." I was like, "Damn, yeah." Yeah,
but I always manipulate sounds so much anyway that they get fucking beyond recognizable. But they're like, I did a remix for Tony Iacana recently, and I used only the original samples. But if you listen to the song, it sounds like I haven't used a single one almost, just because there's so much fucking warping, and you just get like never-ending path, and you forget what it even originally sounded like. But awesome. I don't even know if that's going to come out or not. I finished it. I don't even know if I finished it. It's like quite a while ago, like a year and a half maybe.
Okay, that's a long fucking time.
Yeah, I think you know what Tony's like.
Gotta get him on here so everyone else can see what he's like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's making his pedals as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, another good gear talk.
Got to see what's in my questions list. I think we asked everything. Okay. What goals do you have for British Noise Electronics? Like, are there certain things you want to tackle that you feel are missing?
Yeah, I just want to make everything that I need. And every time a problem arises, I want to kind of solve that. It is for me. I don't want to just make a module because I think that would sell. I want to make something because I want that specific thing. And I think I'm in a kind of a unique position where I'm gigging a lot with a modular that I can kind of figure out what I want and what I need. So at the moment it'll be like I've done the filter, I've done some distortions, I'm doing the big delay, I'm going to have a mixer. It's kind of just everything.
Would you do a sequencer?
See, that's the kind of thing where I don't know. For me, it would be more about either performance or the sound or something. And I can't see myself making a sequencer better than what's out there. If you know what I mean. Especially because I've just been studying analog, like electronics. I'm very restricted to like the field I've been in. So, I can make filters, VCAs, whatever. But I can't, in my head, I can't picture making something like that. And I don't have any groundbreaking ideas, Well, I do actually. Now that I've just thought about it. Okay. I love the idea of like, the problem I have with sequences is they're always like on a page. Say like you take the electrons, for instance, you've got everything on a page. And then if you go to the next page, everything's changed. I like the idea of just like on the Akai where you can go down and keep elements in each one. So you can blend every bit of each sequence. I don't know if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean though?
Like you're saying, if you have 4 channels of sequencing, you can change one channel while the other 3 stay the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the kind of the idea I like. And you can scroll through and I think that's a way more fluid way of performing as well. Because you've used the electrons live as well. You almost have to stop whatever's on that machine to switch over or figure out a way of transitioning that's going to be smooth.
Yeah. The nerd sequencer can do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a sweet thing. So yeah, if I was going to make a sequencer, it'd be mostly based on like something free moving like that. But again, I don't think I need to. It's all there. There's some wizard doing that.
Funnily enough, I was at Cenk from Electron's place like 2 days ago, and he has the Roland MC505, this 90s groove box. If you don't know it, or if the audience doesn't know it, and it has this mode called Mega Mix. It has sliders on the front for each channel of audio and the drums. But if you turn on Mega Mix mode, the sliders become the sequence memory for each channel. And it's just so fun to perform that.
Well, you can just slide through the sequences.
Yeah.
So that's gangster. I like that.
Super dope. I was blown away. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about sequencing like that, though, where you can just, you'll arrive at a point which you never knew. You know, it's not page 5, it's not blank 1. It's a fucking mix of all these things. And if you load a live project in that format, you'll never make the same song again. You know, one element from one from the other. And if your music's quite consistent as well, like with my live sets, I could punch a kick drum from one, hats from another, atmosphere from one, and a bass line from another, and they would work. Like I could hit them and I know they would work. Mm-hmm. So it's such a cool way of sequencing. You can be like, I need that lead now. I need those drums now, instead of this track, that track. I like it. It's a way better way of performing.
Yeah, I was pretty blown away. I bought one immediately, so I'm waiting for it. Yeah. Dude.
Well, everything's already pre-programmed in that, right?
Well, it's like a Rompler, you know, so.
Yeah, so you just select through whatever's already in there.
Well, there's the MC909 that has sampling, so I got that one.
Yeah, sick.
So let's see.
That's like the bigger, yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, you know Container?
The shop?
No, he's a producer, Container.
Oh, I thought you meant the record shop in London. No,
he's done stuff, I think, on like Spectrum spools. Most of his stuff is with that 909. If you look up a live set of his, it's sick. Yeah. It makes it sound crazy.
Actually, maybe, has he done a Boiler Room?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I've seen his Boiler Room, yeah.
Yeah, he's on like Spectrum spools and Diagonal, and it's good stuff.
Yeah. Fuck, I need to work on my live set now. Got me all like juiced up.
Are you doing a stream or something?
No, I've just got some gigs in what are we in May? In June.
Okay.
So I've just got to start thinking of, because I want to do such an overhaul.
Where are you going to?
Just Glasgow.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, UK's opening up, huh?
Yeah. So I've got one in London, I think, and then one in Glasgow. So, but I want it to be completely from scratch. So it's going to be probably like a 2-month process of just getting something that fucking bangs. Yeah, it's a big job. Send
me videos. I'm really curious.
Yeah, it'll just be the same old project I just loaded up last year. Yeah, fuck it.
I mean, who would know?
Yeah, I would. But yeah, I want to do that generative stuff live, but it's just so fucking, it churns out so much shit until there's something good that I don't know how I would implement it.
Yeah, that's tough.
I mean, the quantizers make it a little bit easier to get something more specific. And then you can always set the parameters so it will always fall in a certain area. But I wonder, I don't know if the crowd would maybe if they knew it was kind of generative in a way, they would hear you looking for something. And then when they find that you've got it and you loop it and maybe they would react with it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe there could be a visual element to indicate all right, we're generating now. All right, we're looping now.
Yeah, but it's just, there's got to be something more, I think.
Maybe hold up a sign that says okay, generative sequence.
No, but not do it in a way, do it with the audio up so they can hear it. And then but almost like a breakdown. You're and then you're find something. I don't know. I like the idea of if the music I'm making is more experimental in a way anyway, maybe that's just how that would go. It's something a bit, I don't know.
No, I think it's a really cool idea. I'm not trying to diss it at all. I think you should go for it because it's going to be like a practice thing. You're just going to get better at it over time, and then you're going to be able to slay out generative sequences on the fly that people couldn't imagine.
But if you make the parameters so tight that, even if it's a shit one, it still works, and you can tweak it while it's working. It's not going to be terrible, but maybe they can see you, they can hear the song developing over time as you slowly figure out adding new notes in, or, there's something about live performance that I like when you just do it on the fly and you get that eureka moment, and then so do they. They're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, really. The unpredictability.
What did you used to sequence with when you used to play live back in the day?
I had a few different approaches, but the first time around was the Octatrack
Yeah.
Later the Digitac, later the Nerd Sequencer. I never did any like generating stuff on the fly. Very rarely, I'd say.
Because almost every single gig I did, I would never have pre-loaded sequences. Or if I would, like say if it was on the beat step, if I would take all the notes out. Like, so I've programmed the notes in, but I'd take them out. And then when I bring them in, I'd be like, beep, like that one. And then I'd add them in and they would kind of just work. But I mean, it was just techno. It was never, it's never that difficult, you know? So this time I want to make some more musical stuff. So I'm not sure if that generative will work or if I just need a whole fucking MIDI map, you know, on the Akai, just everything all planned out.
I think you can do it. On my last album, Voidin, I have a lot of tracks that are generative sequences, but you know, it's like 5 minutes, not 40 minutes. Maybe check that out for some ideas. But my approach, since I wasn't generating live, is that I would just, at home, I would make like 200 sequences in the Nerd Sequencer over 2 weeks. And then I would never remember what the fuck they are. So it's generative because I'm like, oh, this one, we'll play it now. No idea. Yeah,
well, I think that's what I was saying about the 16-step sequencer. It's the same thing. You could have it empty, but there's only so much you can do in that. And you're usually going to go for stuff that works. So even if you have turned up with an empty sequencer, there's the go-to sequences, like the patterns at first and then the notes. It's kind of the same thing, isn't it? There's going to be something in there that, I don't know, that basically is pre-programmed in your head.
Yeah,
that's why. I want to get away from that a little bit because, like in 8 years of the same bass line, it's just like.
Well, back to who we talked about before. Keith Fullerton Whitman has a boiler room, or no, it's not boiler room. It's Against the Clock, where he does a generative sequence in 10 minutes. I'll send you that link.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You should check him out. I really like his stuff. He's really, really impressive. Almost all modular these days. And before that, he was like a Max MSP guy. So
yeah, no, I'd definitely be into that because I've just been so uninspired like the last year. Just the worst fucking music ever, in my like opinion. There's been, I don't know, what I liked as techno has disappeared, and it seems to be something else. So I've been in a predicament where like I'm not finding anything very inspiring. So yeah, anything you've got that would give me a bit of energy, I guess.
I'll feed you a bunch of weird shit for sure.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Hey, my dog's trying to hunt me this whole time.
Oh, why don't you let him?
I have been. If I had a fisheye lens, you would have seen the massacre on my trousers.
Oh my God. Fuck. He's so cute though.
Yeah, he's a savage.
Yeah, my cat's been scratching. One of them has been scratching the door this whole time, but I'm ignoring her. I'm like, listen, you wait the fuck up, all right?
You've got one. Is it like a Maine Coon? One of those.
Yeah,
cats?
they're both Maine Coons. The brown one is named Chi Chi. She's a full Maine Coon, and then the white one, Bulma, is half Maine Coon, half Turkish Angora.
Fucking kicking off. Those cats are awesome.
Dude, she sheds so much fucking hair. Like, it's impossible to not have white hair. I could just bring a shirt home from the store, and if I just pull it out of the package, it's got a hair.
That's funny, man.
Like, look, I got one right here. Like, it's everywhere. I wake up with her white hairs in my eye, in my mouth, in my nose. But I love her.
Modular?
All over. I take a makeup brush and I dust it every day. And they go to sleep on it.
I just got for powder coating the face plates. I just got an air compressor. But I didn't realize how sick it was for cleaning the modular. Like, because you got like a big like spray gun. So like every week I'm just like.
Is it the kind you can get high off of?
No. It's just like like an air compressor, like that, and it'll just
okay.
Like 100 psi, just fucking never looked so clean.
Dope. Maybe I got to get into that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, and I was like, wait a minute.
You could also like refill your car tires.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, I used to get my hair cut at this Cuban barber shop in Miami, and they would hit you with one of those in the face to get all the hair off your face.
Oh man, have you ever played a gig in Miami?
No, actually no, because I moved out of there too young but I have an offer for one on the table, so
Man,
we'll see.
I love Miami. I'd love to do a gig there.
I miss it, man.
Cool spot.
I miss the beach, my family, and all. I gotta get out there again. Thanks for coming on the show. I had a good time with you.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching. Hope you dug that. I've been a big fan of Ansome and what he's doing for a long time. I love his live and studio approach, and I've had the luck to stand behind him while he does a live set a couple times now, and it's always a sight to see. So if you want to know who's coming up next, you can do that by subscribing to my Patreon. Don't forget to smash like here. Peace out. What's up? It's Joey Blush Response.